Rob Font joins us right now to talk about it all. Hello, Rob. How are you? Rob, can you hear me? Hey, Rob, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us. You still got the shiner. Is that from the fight?
Yeah, man. He caught me with a solid right hand, man. It's still there. It swelled up instantly too. I was a little pissed about that, but it's all good. It's slowly coming down though.
Yeah. Wow. Because obviously the big story coming off this fight was you knocking him out. And was that like the only legit punch that he landed on you?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like two, like it was two right hands and a solid jab. But yeah.
That was a big one. Obviously, he was on a roll, and there was a lot of buzz surrounding him. Best boxer in the bantamweight division, all this stuff, young guy. And you were on the losing streak. Did you feel like this was, one that like they're all must win, right? I kind of hate that question, but like, did you feel I gotta stop this? I gotta just do something impressive here to get this back on track?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, definitely. It was tough. Going back to back losses. Obviously, I've lost before. I've lost some big names, but to go back to back the way I did, it was the first time. It felt like in the Aldo fight, it was the first time I got hurt and I took damage, like serious damage in a fight. And then the Cheeto fight felt like the first time I ever got just beat up. I feel like it was like, all right, that's what it feels like to get beat up. I got beat up in that fight, and it was all right. Let's take a break. We took the year. We had a baby, so there was a lot going on. So it was much time needed off, and obviously losing two back to back, and especially the way the Cheeto fight went, and having a year off, like people, obviously they forget or they quickly write you off, and I definitely felt that. It felt like obviously I needed to fight for my team, for myself. And I also needed a finish, and because I haven't finished the fight since the Marlon Moraes fight, so there was a lot that I felt like I had to do, but it felt like this was the right guy to do it with. There was a lot of hype behind him. He's bringing a lot of hype behind him, especially coming off of back-to-back finishes the way he was doing, but he wasn't. We didn't see what everybody else saw. It felt like it was more. He was beating guys he was supposed to beat. He was his finishing guys he was supposed to finish, and it was more of like he's good, but I don't think he's just there yet. And if anybody, if you want to come back to coming off a loss, it'll be. I think this would have been the right opponents to kind of pick if he had a chance to pick, and they offered it up, and it was like, all right, cool, let's do this. And obviously it was a little risky fighting backwards, fighting the number 12 guy, and obviously I'm ranked number 6, but it comes with I guess losing two in a row, so that comes with the territory. So it was more of like, yeah, all right, there's a lot riding on this fight, but like this is still a good fight for us to go out there and make a statement.
You mentioned the year layoff. Your last fight prior to this one was April 30th of last year against Cheeto. And congratulations to you and your wife on the new addition to the family. The year off in between fights, was that more because of the baby, or did you feel like physically your head? I remember Calvin, who's obviously a teammate of yours, took a long break after the Holloway fight. Is this just what you felt and what your coach Tyson Chartier felt was best for you to just take that time off?
Yeah, definitely. It was more of like it was a little bit of, obviously we saw how well Calvin did with taking a year off. I needed the year off. Again, like it felt like it was the first time ever feeling like really getting beat up. It felt like we rushed that fight. The Cheeto fight, we felt like we should have said no. And it was just a lot of like first times, like in that fight. Obviously I didn't make weight in that fight, so it wasn't a great camp. It was basically just trying to make weight and get to the fight. So it was a lot of things that we had to like tighten up, and it just felt like time, and obviously we needed to heal, and obviously the baby, it only made sense. And then so yeah, it was definitely a team decision. It was more of like listen, we're not even gonna pick up the phone call until around December. Like if Sean calls, like we're just saying no to everything. And he actually called. I think they were trying to offer me a Frankie Edgar, and I think that's what they called him.
MSG.
Like, yeah, they was like, no, we're not taking it. We're not interested. And so it was one of those, like, as a team, everybody, we sat down. So listen, we're going to take the time, get back, and we'll obviously reach out to Sean around December.
Man, how hard is it to say? Like, that's a big time fight. MSG, Frankie Edgar, retirement fight. Was it hard to say no?
Yeah, it was definitely tough. Like, Tyson made it a lot easier. He didn't tell me until afterwards, but you know, like so, but we said that. He said, "He's like, I'm not even gonna let you know." You know, it was just like one of those things. But it was tough to know. You know, it was tough to know that it was like, and it had been a great fight. I felt in a big name and a big spotlight, but it's you know, obviously the health came first, and we stuck to our word, and just took the time off.
Man, so you feel, obviously you guys trust Tyson. He has guided your careers, the whole team perfectly, but you know, that's a big opportunity. Like when you found out after the fact, were you like, man, I wish this is one we could have talked about? That shows the trust that you have in him, that he says no and doesn't even tell you about a fight like that.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, like it did sting a little, but not enough to to really talk about it again. It was more of like, well, this is what we said. Let's stick to it. And
okay.
Like you said, if anything comes up, and that's, you know, anything comes up, like we're not doing it. So it was like, it'd have been more of like, you know, like it'd have been stupid to even bring it up, because I would have thought about it. I would have kind of like, so I think he played it smart.
Do you think if they would have went to you directly, you would have said yes? Yeah. That's the difference between a fighter and a coach, manager type. So you're lucky.
You need that guy.
Right.
Yeah, you need that guy, you know, the kind of like, you know, like make those right decisions for you. Kind of like, he knows me, you know, he knows it had been, it's okay. So it's only a couple months before, but I'd have like started self-negotiating, trying to figure out how we can make this work. And I think it was the best move, you know, to hang out, chill out, really just take some time off, you know, heal up, lick my wounds, spend as much time with Catherine, my fiance, as possible to prep for the baby. And then we had a smooth birth. It's been the coolest thing. I thought fighting was cool. Giving birth was even better, you know? So like everything went smooth. The vibe was right. Everything was just right. And then we got back to training camp, and obviously we were training. We were like still trying to get better, but it wasn't, the conditioning wasn't up, the sparring wasn't up. Like it wasn't, we weren't like fight ready, but we're still getting better, still doing what we had to do, had the baby, and then just picked everything up from the conditioning to the sparring to like, you know, bringing in certain guys, bringing in, you know, traveling back to get on the road and going to different gyms, different boxing gyms. And it was fun to get back, but also like, I think I was so like, I took so long to kind of get back to that routine that it became fun again. It was like, I couldn't wait to get back, you know, to the gym. I can't wait to spar. It wasn't just like, all right, you got to spar tonight. It was like, oh man, it's been so long since I've done this. And I felt that again. But I also felt like the urgency to get in there, get the job done, and then get home to kind of just hang out with the baby before she falls asleep. So there was a lot of first time things in this camp, but it was all smiles, all good. The weight was on point. I was eating way more than I definitely was in that Cejudo fight. You know, it was just, we weren't rushing. We started early, drinking as much as I want to, eating as much as I want to, not as much as I want to, but like in amounts, you know, and then just slowly seeing a bunch of improvements throughout each week, from the wrestling to the striking, to the defense, to the footwork, and just slowly seeing it. And it's kind of like, almost like you almost get mad at yourself, because like you could have, if you was on point like this, you could have been feeling the same way in the Cheetah fight, or even in the Aldo fight. And it was just like, I think I needed to step back, take that time, you know, get beat up a little bit to kind of see like, hey, like, let's start early. Let's not get too heavy. Let's not, you know, like, let's not take those extra vacation days or whatever, you know, because when I got the Cheetah fight, I was in the Bahamas, and when I first started, I was usually saying no to those trips. I was usually like, you know, like being that grumpy guy, like, no, I'm fine, I'm training for a fight, you know. And I was just like, but I don't know, I guess just time came over, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just do that. I'll go ahead. And it wasn't like I was completely out there like partying like that, but just saying yes to a lot more than I usually do. And I think it caught up. I think I needed the time to kind of like see what, you know, what I had, what I could be missing up, and then obviously seeing the physical change in my face is like, all right, it's time to like really tighten this up. And I think it was the right time to kind of just chill out, take the break, and get back to work.
Is this your first child?
Yeah, first child.
I saw some footage. Are you a big basketball player?
Yes and no. I wouldn't say I'm like that good, but I
saw you and your girlfriend. You were playing one-on-one, and she's very pregnant in this footage, and you guys are going toe to toe. And
Yeah.
she's going strong. Like she looks like, I don't know, what is she, like 8 months pregnant or 7 months pregnant there, right?
8 months pregnant. Yeah, she played high school ball. We actually met on the basketball court in Florida. Like she was real good. And then obviously we try to stay as busy as possible with her pregnancy and kind of keep her moving. She wanted the ball, so I was like, let's go, let's do it.
Did you let her win?
Yeah. Like no, it's funny. Like it's one of those things. Yeah, she can't drive the way she used to, especially when she's pregnant. But if I leave her open, she's hitting those shots all day. So it's kind of like I'm like half in, half out. She drives. I give it to her. But it's interesting. And now, even now, we kind of we still play. We get after it. Like we used to run a lot of full court when we were younger, and she was doing her thing. But yeah, it's pretty fun to kind of see, especially seeing her pregnant still kind of work out was pretty cool.
So how old is the baby now?
Just about 4 months, about 2 weeks.
Wow. So first time as a dad, what was it like fighting?
It was fun, man. It was good. It went so smooth. I got knock on wood. I don't want to but it seemed right. It seemed simple. It seemed easy. Obviously we brought in my mom for the fight night in the weigh-ins. Calvin Cater, his mom was out there for most of the week as well. So she helped out a lot. Obviously we had the whole team. And then Kathy's an all-star. She's been around kids since I met her, from all her time babysitting friends' kids or nieces and nephews or whatever. And then her mom owns a daycare, so she's been around kids her whole life. So it wasn't a thing in at that. My baby, she's just so chill. She just she lets you know if she's hungry. She lets you know if she needs a diaper change. She lets you know. Besides that, she's just hanging out. Even after the fight, she hung out with us to 5 o'clock in the morning, just sitting there watching, observing everybody.
Wow.
She just watched everything. And it's we had a pretty big group in the Airbnb, and it's just music and everything's going. We even had the fight going in the background, and she's just watching and just observing everything. She's not shy. She doesn't start crying over new people. And again, maybe it's just the stage she's in now, but it's been pretty smooth, man.
Do you feel like you're all the way back now? Do you feel like those 2 fights were just a little now you figured it out with the time off, your life is in order? Does the confidence feel like it's all the way back even more so than prior to the streak?
Yeah, 100%. I really do. It was tough going into it. Obviously, in that Cheetah fight, it just felt like everything was off. It felt like I had a bad attitude about the week, had a bad attitude about the weight cut. Obviously the weight cut didn't go smooth, and then even in the warm up, I was like, all right, let's just get this over with. It was just I fought for a check basically, and that's all I got. It was cool because obviously Dana FaceTimed me at the hospital and he hooked it up. He even gave me my win bonus, which is great. I fought for the check. I got both checks, but was it really worth it though? My face is all jacked up. I'm out another year, it just and this one felt like I fought for myself. I fought for the knockout. I wanted to get creative as possible. I fought for more than just that check. The other one was just make it happen. I don't want to say no again. It was one of those, I don't want to turn the fight down. I'm also rushing it because I want to get back in there and get another W, but maybe should I said no and hung out and just relaxed. Easier said, now that you know what happens, but it was a lot of but this fight was just completely different. This one felt right. We had everything. Everybody was on point. All the teammates, from all the coaches, from nutrition to conditioning to wrestling, everybody was just on the same page. Sparring went good. Confidence went good. I was talking a lot with Micah from the PI. We had a weekly call, so that just mentally we checked every box from nutrition from the mental to the conditioning. We just made sure we wrote everything off, and knowing that knowing what I did for the Cheetah fight, or knowing what I did to this fight, my confidence just kept going. I'm getting higher and higher, especially once I got to Florida. Everything, I was just and then obviously when I get there, it's kind of that feeling of everybody looking past me. He's talking about Sean O'Malley and not worrying about, the Rob Font. He's sitting there trying to get a Sean O'Malley fight, which I'm that doesn't even make sense. How do you beat the number 6 guy, instantly gets you fighting Sean O'Malley? I'm all right, this guy, he's obviously overlooking me too. I'm like, maybe he's young. Maybe he's just like, it's like he's young, but I'm like, oh, he's 30 years old. It's not that young.
Yeah.
You know? He's not like 18, you know, like, so I can't use that. I can't say, I'm like making excuses for him. Maybe he's just young and whatever. He got cameras in his face and they got to say something cool. I'm like, no, he's actually not that young. And he knows exactly what he's saying. He knows what he's doing. I'm like, bro, like he's definitely looking past you. And it's like, let's just go out there and make a statement. And obviously, like we try to sell him as much as possible and make him seem like the biggest monster like possible. But deep down, we knew what we had. We knew what we did. You know, we knew the work we done. And it's kind of like, it's like our little secret. Like, we're going to know what we're going to go out there and do. Obviously, easier said than I want. Like, you know, but it was like, man, just put the money on me because you see, like, and I came in as an underdog. So like, just put the money on me and let me go out there and get to work.
So this win, where does it take you? Like, it's been 2 weeks now. Have you thought about who makes sense next?
Yeah, I mean, I think automatically I gotta, like I would say, even though he's coming off a couple losses, Petr Yan and Cejudo, you know, obviously, like I would love to get that rematch back. The Cejudo rematch would be huge. Petr Yan fight would be huge, even though he's coming off a couple losses. If I can sneak in there somehow, get a Corey Sandhagen-Merab fight, which I doubt, like that'd be great. Obviously, O'Malley's not fighting anybody I'm assuming he's not fighting anybody until it's for the belt. And I definitely don't want to fight backwards again. So I figured that Deiveson Figueiredo fight made sense. I know he wanted to come up. He had a big name, ex-champion. He wanted to fight. But obviously that's not happening. He's staying down. So that's not in the play no more. I know there's the Cruz and Garbrandt rumors, but I'm not even sure if that's even happening. Like, I guess I would fight backwards for like a Dominic Cruz type of fight, but I would love to fight forward. So yeah, there's fights out there. We'll see how it all plays out. It seems like, unfortunately, I probably have to fight like a guy coming off a loss. It's the only thing that's kind of like weird when you're fighting. You're in the top 5 and you're fighting backwards, and like a big win. I did get it is a big win, but it doesn't really move me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really move as far as in the ranking. So it's tough. But you know, yeah, Pedro Munoz just won. Obviously, we already did that. So there's and I fought like most of everybody in the division too. So it's kind of like I'm in a weird spot. But regardless of whatever happens, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be patient, and I'm excited to find out who it is.
There's some talk of them coming to Boston. I would imagine you want on that.
That'd be great. Petr Yan, Roth Font, Boston. That'd be crazy. That'd be insane. Great
that would be a great fight.
Yeah. But we'll see. Like, do you know? Like, I heard August. Is that what you're hearing?
I know it's in the next few months, but everything keeps changing. They were supposed to go to Calgary. Now they're going to Vancouver so it's hard to know for sure. But I knew they were supposed to go last year. And then they switch it to San Diego. I would be shocked if they don't go this year, and I would imagine they would want you on there as a local guy. It makes all the sense in the world. Next month we get bantamweight title fight. Just curious, do you have a pick in that one, Aljo or Cejudo?
That's gonna be a fun fight, man. I'm excited for that fight. I think the build up and the lead up to the fight is gonna be interesting. Yeah. They're gonna do. You know, it's hard to really pick against Henry. He's beat a lot of big names. Yeah, you know, obviously you got the whole Olympic medal, two belts. He's a fun, entertaining guy. There's a whole character behind him. The champ, man. He's doing his thing lately. You know, he's just the bigger fighter. He's the longer fighter. He's a wrestler. Obviously, not on. You would have to give Henry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would have to give him the edge on wrestling on paper, but you know, this is MMA. If he can kind of stay long with his shots and be, you know, like be real tricky, in which he does anyway with his kicks and elbows, like it can make the takedown a lot easier. But trying to hold down a smaller, shorter wrestler like that is damn near impossible, man. Those guys don't just pop up. But it's an interesting fight, man. I guess my money says I want to see Henry win, but I think I want to see Champ does keep doing his thing and get the belt and defend it against Henry. So I'm going with Aljamain on this one.
And how do you feel about O'Malley? I mean, O'Malley fought in October. By the time the winner is ready to go, that would be probably October, right? How do you feel about that?
Say it one more time.
Well, O'Malley's last fight was in October against Yan, right? And
yeah.
And this title fight is in May. So by the time the winner of this fight is ready, is probably October, November, you know, something like that. So he will have been out a year in between fights. Like, how do you, as someone who's in the division, I know you took, you know, a year out. You still hear me?
Yeah, but I can hear you now.
Yeah.
My bad. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's all good. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I was just curious about someone who's in the division, how you feel about him getting a title shot after being out for a year.
I think it only helps him. I think, you know, he'll be well rested. I think if he's smart, he's obviously grinding. He's wrestling as much as possible. He's trying to get better, which I'm pretty sure he's doing. He's not getting banged up. If he's smart, he's not in the gym going at it with fighters and getting little bumps and bruises that are unnecessary. It gives him time. He's in a good position. He doesn't have to fight anybody. He definitely is. It seems like he doesn't need the money, so it's kind of like it's not like he's in a rush to get to that belt. I think it only helps him. I've done it twice. I know what a year feels like. It happens pretty quick, especially, you know, like when you're training and you're trying to get better at something. And the way the UFC, they just keep putting out these shows. Before you know it, he'll be right back in there. So I think it only makes sense for him to kind of like wait out, and I don't think the year affect him at all.
How great was Miami? Did you love it?
Oh, it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It was so good to be out there. I'm in a sweater right now. You know, I'm like, oh man, it was so good to be back in that weather. It made weight cut so much easier. It made, you know, like just walking around to the car. It made everything so much easier. You know, just like the weather by itself. And then Miami's cool. I had some family come out. We spent Easter in Boca Raton, and then I drove up to Tampa to check out my sister and my cousins that live up there. So it was overall great trip, great atmosphere. I love Florida, but it is one of those states that you got to get in, get out, because you can definitely get in trouble out there.
Yeah, for sure. Someone on Twitter asked me to ask you where you got the shirt that you wore at the pre-fight presser. He liked it very much at the media day.
Oh, I got that from Express at the mall.
All right.
Basic stuff. I saw that shirt and it screamed Miami all
it
over
was.
it, so definitely Express.
Yeah, so, some guy on Twitter said, please ask Rob where he got that shirt. Whoever you are out there, now you know. So go get that at Express. Congrats, man. Congrats on a great win, a great performance. Much respect. That was super impressive. I mean, I think Yanez is one of the great young fighters. I know he's not super young like we said, but to do that to him, first loss in the UFC was supremely impressive. You reminded people of just how good you are. So much respect, and hopefully you get on that Boston card and you get one of those big fights in the summertime. Looking forward to that as well.
Oh, man, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me on.
All right, all the best. There he is, Rob Font joining us. Big win for him, big-time performance against Adrian Yanez.